questions.
Okay, fine. Back again today, KBB Recruitment. Ask the recruiter. Kate, you ready?
I'm ready.
Kate, tell me, I don't have the required experience. Should I still apply?
I think this is a really tricky one because, of course, as an employer, you want people who've got as many relevant skills as possible to fit the role that you're in. But, you know, there are skill sets that cross over. And
Yes.
I think if you can adapt your CV and adapt a covering letter for each application so that you're highlighting where your skill sets cross over, you know, anybody can make changes. I myself have gone from different industries, you know, with times with kids and stuff. So it's certainly possible to do it as long as you measured and you make sure you're applying for jobs where you have got skills that cross over.
You've just got to understand the job spec, haven't you? Like,
Yeah.
if you've had a proper read through the job spec and you can tweak your experience, not create false experience, but just give scenarios of, yes, I've worked in a different industry doing a slightly different job role. However, on the job spec, it states I need to be able to do X. Well, I've done that before in a slightly different environment.
Absolutely.
There's got to be ways that you can tweak that to get yourself on board. So yes, I would say that within reason, you can apply for jobs without exactly the right experience.
Yeah, and I
they're
think
looking
that
for.
within reason is key because it's not always about the skill set, but it's looking at job roles where there are similarities, you know, with the type of sales you're doing. If you're targeting certain routes to market, you know, they're easier to transfer than other skills to pick up. And obviously any online training that you can do, training that you can you know, to develop yourself towards the career goal that you're looking for. If you can show that you're doing that off your own back, then that's always a good way.
These are the bits that help you stand out, aren't they? If an employer can see, you know, this person has gone out on their own initiative and gone and got some external training, for example. If it comes down to you or one other person that are similar, that might be the thing that gets you over the line.
Absolutely, and I think being prepared, you know, that to be flexible and understand that you are going to have to go back and learn some new skills. So it might be about taking a little step backwards or a side step into a new industry to allow you to then progress within your chosen field.
Yeah, okay, fine. Go on then, what you got for me?
How would you explain, quite relevant after COVID and lots of people facing redundancies over the last few years, how would you explain a gap on your CV, an employment gap?
Do you know what I like to see on CVs sometimes is, and not everybody does this, but people on certain candidates put why they've left a role, reason for leaving at the bottom. So if you get a hoppy CV, which we do see, sometimes there's genuine reasons in behind that. A redundancy, nobody can help that. If you've been made redundant at a role, I would say that needs to go on a CV because, you know, if you've had 7 jobs in 3 years, a potential employer is going to look at that and go, don't like the look of that very much. But if 5 of those are through redundancy, like you say, through COVID, there's nothing you can do about that. You know, that you've got unlucky. It's totally out of your control, out of your hands. So I would definitely, if it's a genuine reason that was out of your control, I would mention it. I would
put
it
on the CV so it doesn't get overlooked.
That's it.
And when we qualify candidates, it's always one of the first questions. Like, why are you looking to move on?
Yeah.
You know, to get a bit of background on that. But there are justifiable reasons, aren't there, as well? So, you know, if you're relocating and looking for something new, you know, if you're explaining that and before anybody's spoken to you, you know, you're already overcoming that objection, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. No, worth keeping on there.
And again on that as well, I'd just like to add, with the skills training, things like that, if you can show that you are doing things during a gap to better yourself, you know, that's always going to be a positive sign if you are finding yourself with a bit of a gap where you're looking for the right role. You know, do what you can professionally to develop.
People are cautious to put stuff like that on their CVs sometimes. I think people think that a CV has got to be the same as everybody else's. This is where I went to school. This is my experience. Little statement at the top, and I like walking my dog at the bottom. And you can. There's no set rule. You
can put so much more into it.
How many CVs do we see where we go, oh, that's different, and it catches your eye?
Yeah,
you want to ring that candidate rather than just the block after block of text. So I think anything that you can do to be different on that CV is worth doing. So that's episode 2 of Ask the Recruiter here at KBB. If any of you guys, any other recruiters, any candidates watching this series want to ask myself and Kate any questions, then please do leave them in the comments below.